Section 11 is only partially reproduced. And let me state the entire provision of Section 11. No franchise, certificate, or any other form of authorization for the operation of public utility shall be granted except to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations organized under the laws of the Philippines. At least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens unless otherwise provided by law. Ang nakalagay po sa saligang batas sa Section 11,
Pwedeng balikan ang last slide. Sorry.
yung prangkisa or certificate or for the operation of public utility, we have the same limitation, 60% and 40%.
That's the one you quoted, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. And we continue.
But Mr. Speaker, clarify lang dyan, nakalagay na kasi dyan na 60-40 unless otherwise provided by law. Ibig sabihin, the law can provide na 100% na ang foreigners. So hindi na kailangan palitan yung next paragraph. Kasi the next paragraph merely says na ang share mo sa governing body should be equivalent to your share in the capital. Kung 100% ang share mo sa capital, di 100% ang share mo sa governing body. Why do we want to change that paragraph? There's nothing wrong with that. Tama lang yun. That your share in the governing body must be equal to your share of the capital. Pangit naman na 10% lang share ng foreigner, 90% yung share na sa governing body. That is really absurd. Why do we even want to change that?
No, we just want to emphasize that there is also the provision unless otherwise provided by law for consistency. Otherwise, it may
Next
create
slide.
the impression na sa opening, meron tayong unless otherwise provided by law, but mawawala
Back
yung
to next slide.
unless otherwise provided by law insofar as the last sentence is concerned.
Sige, Mr. Speaker, I will leave it at that. But I will look, my colleagues, please see that. Unless otherwise provided by law, the participation of a foreign investors in a governing body of any public enterprise shall be limited to their proportionate share. Very just, very normal, very reasonable. And our distinguished sponsors want to change that. I couldn't really think how absurd that could be in the future. But anyway, can we go back to the second slide, the first slide kanina? Yung the Congress shall upon recommendation. Yan. Section 10, Mr. Speaker. Yun ang sinasabi ko kaninang philosophy. The Congress shall upon the recommendation of the economic of NEDA shall increase the percentages of capital owned by foreigners. Klaro yan, unless otherwise provided by law. Tapos ang karugtong niya, the Congress shall enact measures that will encourage the formation of enterprises whose capital is only owned by Filipinos. Paano ngayon magkakaroon ng batas na babangga sa next sentence? Kasi the moment you allow foreigners to own 100% of these enterprises, babangga ka na doon sa you shall enact measures to encourage the formation of enterprises wholly owned by the Filipinos. Ito yung sinasabi kong babangga ka sa philosophy eh. So Congress will now be hailed to court every so often because it violated the next sentence. Incongruent yung paglagay kasi ng provision. Kung gusto talagang palitan, wag na yung unless otherwise provided by law, tanggalin na yung buong paragraph na yan, palitan na talaga na pwede talagang 100%, pati yan tanggalin. The Congress shall enact measures that will encourage the formation and operation of enterprises whose capital is wholly owned by Filipinos. Hindi po ba, Mr. Speaker, na dapat tanggalin yan if we wish to be consistent with the philosophy of the proponents that we should open up and encourage foreign investors, not Filipinos, in owning these enterprises?
Malinaw naman po ang sinasabi ng saligang batas. There must be a recommendation of the Economic and Planning Agency when the national interest dictates, reserved to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens. Meaning to say, yung recommendation, posible na 60% ang mga Pilipino, 40% ang foreigners. However, in the last paragraph, pwedeng ilagay sa batas na hindi na 60-40. Kinakailangan ito ay 100% Filipino-owned. So what's wrong with that provision? Do we mean to say na kinakailangan hanggang 60% lamang?
You're saying that the law may provide 100% Filipino or may provide 100% foreign. Is that what you're saying?
No, that is
Right.
not. Because what I have been saying, and let me read Section 10. The Congress shall, upon recommendation of the Economic and Planning Agency, when national interest dictates, reserve to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens or such higher percentage as Congress may prescribe certain areas of investment as may be provided by law. In other words, there would be flexibility on the part of Congress to reduce or increase that capital participation.
Precisely.
However, the Congress shall enact measure that will encourage the formation and operation of enterprises whose capital is solely owned by the Philippines. Meaning to say, pwede ring mag-enact ang Kongreso ng isang batas na 100% owned by Filipinos.
Yes. Pero pwede rin mag-enact ng batas na 100% foreign-owned. Sabi naman natin, it depends on the future Congress, di ba?
Yes.
The moment Congress enacts a law that says 100% owned by foreigners, babangga na siya ngayon sa next sentence. Yun ang tanong. Kasi ang batas na yan is not a measure that will encourage the formation and operation of enterprises whose capital is fully owned by Filipinos. It is a measure actually that encourage the capitalization of foreigners. Ganun na naman pong punto ko na parang bumangga siya sa philosophy. But sige na, Mr. Speaker, I will go to the next slide. I'd also want to finish the interpellation. Ito po, Alienable Land Section 3, sabi natin kanina, mga foreigners, pwede naman may batas that continues to, bawal pa rin sila, pero pwede rin may batas na pwede silang mag-lease, no? At ang nakalagay dyan, ang lease nila sa Constitution, 25 years, renewable not more than 25 years, but not to exceed 1,000 hectares in area unless otherwise provided by law. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng magsabi ang Congress, of course, pwede rin sabihin ng Congress 100 hectares na lang, pero pwede rin i-increase ng Congress and based on the philosophy of the sponsors na i-open up ang bansa sa foreigners, definitely towards the increase ang philosophy. So pwede pong maging 2,000 hectares ang limitation dyan. Tama po?
Yes.
Yes. Pero pansinin nyo, pag foreigners pwedeng 2,000, ano po yung sa sunod? Yung citizens may lease not more than 500 hectares. So hanggang doon na lang ang Filipino citizen or acquire not more than 12 hectares. Congress may provide by law for an increase in the leasehold of these foreigners, but Congress cannot provide by law the increase in the leaseholds of the Filipino citizens. Ibig sabihin, tali ang Pilipino sa 500 hectares or 12 hectares. Pero ang foreigners, pwedeng 2,000, pwedeng 3,000, pwedeng 5,000. Hindi po ba parang ang sama naman? Ang Pilipino, ipeg mo lang sa ganon. Ang foreigner, pwede mong taasan yung kanilang land holdings. Is this something that is good for the Philippines, Mr. Speaker?
Well, private corporations or association may not hold such alienable lands unless otherwise provided by law. So, it is possible that a law might be enacted without
increasing.
It is possible that a law might be enacted, in which case, it does not specify that it is applicable only to foreign corporations.
Yes.
It is even applicable to domestic corporations.
Yes. Baka lang po kasi gusto niya ring dagdagan ng unless otherwise provided by law ang last sentence. Yun naman ang point ko po, no? Pero parang may unfairness dito na meron ka ngayong mga ganong provisions na hindi nag-apply sa Philippine citizens. Next slide, please. Napag-usapan na natin kanina yan, no? Ito, educational institutions po, other than those established by religious groups and mission boards shall be owned solely by citizens of the Philippines or corporations. At least 60% of capital is owned by such citizens. The Congress may, however, require increased Filipino equity participation in all educational institutions. Ayon po ang nakalagay sa Constitution ngayon. Ano po ang interpretasyon ng distinguished sponsor dyan na parang pinipeg ng ating bansa, ang ating konstitusyon, ang ownership sa mga educational institutions, mainly to Filipino citizens. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun. And we have a reason why we are advocating this change in the Constitution. And let me
yes
state...
po, I will go to that po.
No,
if I may.
let me complete my answer. I think I have the right, Mr. Speaker,
I have not asked a question yet.
To explain why I am saying yes. There has been a decline insofar as higher education in our country is concerned. There has been a reduction. For accountancy, ang pumapasa lamang po 37%. Civil engineering, 35%. Marine engineering, 23%. Ito po, resulta sa board examinations. Pinakamataas, medicine, 58%. Out of the 500 universities which have been surveyed across the globe, only 2 in the Philippines were included. These 2 universities happens to be University of the Philippines, number 332, and Ateneo de Manila, number 360. In contrast, those countries which have opened to foreign investment their educational institution, katulad po ng Hong Kong, Singapore, and China, were consistently in the top 50 universities for the past 3 years. The best universities in Asia, namely University of Hong Kong, was ranked 22nd in the world, and the National University of Singapore was 28th position. Tayo po pa matutuwa na lamang ng ating universidad dito sa Pilipinas, number 360 at number 332. Samantalang yung ating katabing bansa, katulad ng Hong Kong at Singapore, 22nd and 28th in position. These are the problems confronting our educational system.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sana kung naghintay ang distinguished sponsor ng tanong, kasi hindi yun ang tanong ko. I am not asking why you are wanting to amend that. Si Congressman Tinio siguro magtatanong yan. Ang tanong ko, ang philosophy niyan. Sabi diyan, i-reserve, di ba? I-reserve sa Philippine corporations, 60% owned. Pero Congress, may poder naman pala ang Congress magpasa ng batas. Nakalagay naman diyan eh. Congress may however require increased Filipino equity participation in all educational institutions. So Congress has the power under that provision, Mr. Speaker. What is the philosophy behind that provision?
Well, unang-una, simple lamang po eh. Ang nakalagay dyan, 60-40. Hindi na makapasok ang mga foreign investor sapagkat they want to own majority of the shares of stock. Eh kung i-avail pa natin yung second sentence, the Congress may however require increased Filipino equity, eh di lalo nang pumasok. Imbis na 60-40, gagawin nating 70-30, 80-20, or 100%.
Tama, tama. So kasi increase lang. Ang sabi ng Constitution, huwag mong i-decrease. Congress may increase. Tama po.
Totoo yun.
So pwedeng 70-30, 80-20, 100,
Yes.
but never lower than 60-40. Tama. Go to the next slide, please. Ito po ang proposal nyo sa inyong proposal. The same. Educational institutions, etc., shall be owned by citizens of or associate of the Philippines or corporations, associations, at least 60% of the capital of which is owned by such citizens unless otherwise provided by law. So based sa proposal nyo, ang Kongreso pwedeng magpasa ng batas na nag-i-increase ng foreign capital. Ibig sabihin, hindi na 60-40. Pwedeng 80% foreigner, 20% Filipino. Tama po?
Tama po.
Tama. Hindi po ba siya babangga sa next sentence? Ay, ang next sentence, sabi niya, hanggang 60-40 ka lang. Sabi niyo po kanina, the next sentence actually says na huwag mong taasan ang 40% ng foreigner. So babangga sa konstitusyon yung batas. Kasi ang filosofiya, ang pinapalitan, ang ini-insert natin is a mechanical unless otherwise provided by law that will actually counter that. And look at the next sentence, Mr. Speaker. Which foreigner do you think will come in? The control and administration of educational institutions shall be vested in the citizens of the Philippines. With this proposal, there was a statement ng isang kulig natin, this is really useless. Kasi how can this is not the amendment that the Filipino people want and doesn't seem to jive at all. May philosophy kasi sa sunod eh. Paano ngayon i-increase ng Congress ang kapital ng foreigner when in the next sentence, dapat lang, sabi ng Constitution, i-increase niya lang ang Filipino equity. Yan ang incongruity dyan sa mga ganong proposals, Mr. Speaker.
Let me answer, Mr. Speaker. Katulad nga ng sinabi ni Congressman Colmenares, assuming na ma-aproban ang charter change, yung unless otherwise provided by law, pwedeng gawin ng future Congresses 70-30. On the other hand, assuming that is already the law 70-30, pwede rin nilang baguhin without violating the Constitution because pwede rin namang taasan ang equity participation ng Pilipinos, meaning to say we can reduce the initial determination of the equity of the foreigners. Kung sa bagong batas, 70-30, after 1 year or 2 years, pwede na lang gawing 50-50. We have to remember that as lawyers, we have to construe the Constitution or any law for that matter when it comes to its provisions in such a manner that all provisions would be given effect.
Don't you find anything incongruent there, Mr. Speaker? The
I don't think so.
control and administration of educational institutions baka naman gusto niya ring tanggalin yan. Hindi ba?
I don't know.
Would a
So far
foreign
as-
corporation want to invest in an educational institution that the control and administration? I'm not advocating for this, but I'm showing I hate to say this, but the absurdity of the proposal. You are proposing an increased capitalization, but you seem to have missed the sentence. Kami, ang posisyon namin, of course, education is very important dito sa Pilipinas. You cannot let foreigners control your educational institutions. We will be a marketplace curriculum. There will no longer be any curriculum that will teach our children the values of nationalism and how it is to serve our people. Rather, it will be, educational institutions run by foreigners to cater to their foreign markets, to cater to their industries, simply a slave labor for them. But that's our opinion. I'm just pointing out to you that the proposals have incongruencies in the whole scheme of things. But in any case, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to go to the next slides. I think there are just 3 slides left. Only Filipino citizens or corporations, associations, or 70% of capital of which is owned by such citizens shall be allowed to engage in the advertising industry unless otherwise provided by law. So, ibig sabihin, pwede naman pala na instead of 70 na Filipino, pwedeng 70-30, pwedeng 50-50, or pwedeng 100% foreign-owned. Ngayon, ang tanong ko po, ito na naman ang karugtong sa advertising industry. And the same goes po with the media, no? Yung mga media owners dito ngayon shall be subject to the onslaught of foreign media corporations kasi bubuksan din siya sa foreign investors, no? At kung nag-worry ang mga media owners dito ngayon, they should really worry because papasukin na tayo dito ng mga big media firms. But let us just go to that. Ang nakalagay sa proposal nyo, if I'm not mistaken, we can read the resolution again, unless otherwise provided by law, the participation of foreign investors in the governing body of entities shall be limited to their proportionate share in the capital thereof. We are back again to the same issue. That sentence, there's nothing wrong with it dapat, in a sense. Kasi kung ano ang share mo sa iyong korporasyon na kapital, yun din sana ang participation mo sa governing body. Pero it seems that the proponents are proposing na pwedeng hindi ganun. Pwedeng ang share niya is small, but his participation in foreign investors, in governing body is larger than his capitalization. Are we saying that because they're foreigners, they are better in governing our advertising industry, our media industry? Kahit na maliit lang yung capital nila, magaling kasi sila mag-manage, bibigyan natin sila ng 100% participation sa governing body. I don't think that's fair, Mr. Speaker. And I really cannot understand why the proponents are wanting to amend that particular part of the Constitution when in fact, para sa akin, hindi ko nakita ang unjustness niyan.
Well, malinaw naman po ang provision, Mr. Speaker. Based on the corporation law, kung ano ang iyong ownership, that will be your participating interest insofar as the board of directors is concerned.
So why are we amending that?
We are not amending. We are just putting the provision unless otherwise provided by law. Sapagkat dyan nakalagay 70% lamang, 70% ang kinakailangan na Filipino citizens. Kung sakaling baguhin natin, gawa nating 70-30, 70 ang foreigners o 30 ang Pilipino, ibig sabihin, ang participation ng foreigners would be only proportionate to their interest in the corporation, and that would be 30%. I don't see any contradicting provisions insofar as Section 11 is concerned.
Mr. Speaker, you said it a while ago. The corporation code allows them participation to the extent of their capital. So there's no need for Congress to provide by law. That is, you said it a while ago, may batas na kasi. Natural talaga yan, Mr. Speaker, na kung ano ang share mo sa capital, yun ang share mo sa foreign investors, sa governing body. So why do we need even Congress to provide by law that particular portion? Yun lang naman ang tanong. But it seems that kanina ko pa ito tinatanong, pero hindi nasasagot at least to my satisfaction. But in any case, that is really a very strange provision. Pero ang implikasyon sa akin yan is this. Kahit 10% lang ang kapital niya, pwedeng Congress will provide by law na ang participation niya sa governing body is 90% o 100%. Yun ang medyo napakasama kasi parang binigay na natin sa kanila ang pag-open up, ang papasok pala na kapital, maliit lang, pero ang share niya sa pag-govern sa media o sa advertising na yan, 100%.
Well, I think that would be an absurd legislation and that can be questioned before the Supreme Court because that would be violative of the Equal Protection Clause.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you're saying that that is an absurd legislation, if Congress will do that, so there could even be no need of that amendment. But in any case, I'll just go to the form, what we are doing now. The procedure, Mr. Speaker, wherein I remember Congressman Barsaga, there are three ways of amending the Constitution. One, of course, is the Constitutional Convention. The second is People's Initiative. The third is, well, we call it generally as Constituent Assembly. It is Congress by 3/4 vote amending the Constitution. So ngayon, ang interpretasyon dyan, of course, there are two interpretations dyan. No? Ang una, sa Constituent Assembly, I'm referring to Constituent Assembly, Congress is of course empowered to do that. They can propose amendment by the Senate and the House in joint session. That was the traditional concept. Yan naman talagang alam natin noon. In fact, ang debate noon, oo, tama, joint session ng Senate at House. Pero voting separately ba o voting joint? Mas doon ang debate. And I remember that particular procedure under that amendment. Now, what we are following is something that was not there before. So, ito yung bago. Ang sabi ngayon, both houses need not convene jointly. They can pass the proposed amendments as if like passing a law, yung katulad ng procedure natin ngayon. This is new to me because this was not what we nakasanayan natin before. And of course, tradition changed. And I remember, I think Congressman Barsaga was one of those who were proposing this kind of a long time ago. I think it was Speaker Nograles, the time of Speaker Nograles noon. And I seem to remember one of those proposing this was Congressman Barsaga na saying, no, we can amend the Constitution just like we're enacting a bill. na hindi naman kailangan ng joint session, no? So, am I correct in that assumption, Mr. Speaker, that Congressman Barsaga was one of those who proposed that? Or who had that opinion before, many years ago, na it can be done with both houses, not jointly in session, but separate sessions. Tama po.
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Speaker. And I relied my proposition based on the constitutional provision.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, pero ang nangyari noon, nung panahon ni Speaker Nograles noon, hindi na-carry yun. Pero what was the reason before of our colleagues, Mr. Speaker, Congressman, distinguished sponsor, bakit hindi nila nagustuhan? Or tingin nila hindi pa panahon ang iyong proposal noon nung panahon ni Speaker Nograles?
The pulse of the public is against charter change because they were thinking that insofar as charter change at the time is concerned, there will be changes in the political provisions of the Constitution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pero ang issue dito kasi hindi whether or not ang pulso ng publiko ay para sa Chacha, kundi ang issue dito, Mr. Speaker, is may ideya na brilliant si Congressman Barsaga that the Constitution can be amended through a proposal by both houses sitting separately. Pero apparently, hindi lone voice siya noon. Kukunti lang sila noon na nag-advocate niyan. And hindi yan yung majority na ina-advocate noon sa House, kaya hindi na-carry yung proposal na yon. Ang tanong ko lang, Mr. Speaker, ano ang reasons noon, or if you know, may rason ba bakit hindi inapprove ng House ang iyong proposal noon that the CONAS can be by both houses in separate sessions?